The 11th. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bunceness.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Lunsman.
Here.
Olson.
Here.
Remley.
Here.
Ronayne.
Here.
Rux. Slide Hansen.
Here.
Mayor Leveson.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we need a motion for the minutes.
Move.
Second.
Motion Slade Hansen and second by Bunsness. If there are no changes, all in favor of approving say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We did have an individual on the agenda intending to be here for open forum tonight, but that will be delayed. He will not be able to be here until next week. So we'll move on to the consent calendar. Just two items, A and B.
Moved.
Second.
Motion Bunsness, second by Olson. In favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Under new business, change order for the South Second traffic signal installation. Robin?
Every once in a while during projects, we find paperwork after the fact. This is one of those cases where there was some work that was done that the prime contractor did not notice until after we'd already finalized the project out. So this is just to make it right with him and his subcontractor. It was work that was done, and we need to settle up with them.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion Johnson, second by Lunsman. The amount is $1,085 to Ringenberg Electric. And
Question. So do we verify these numbers? Is it upon the prime contractor to give us the number and then we verify them?
We had them in advance, and there were two spreadsheets. The one that we submitted as the final was the wrong one. I'll put it that way. Then we verified with the contractor that we had the right number. Then they noticed after the fact. So
Okay.
yes, we already knew about it, and we just had the wrong paperwork.
Thank you.
Other questions? Not, we have a motion and a second to make the payment to Ringenberg. Jordan?
Councilmember Bunceness.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Remley.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Rux. Slide Hansen.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye. Motion carries. And we have our airport manager here for a change order from the airport. Welcome.
Good evening. So, what I'm asking tonight is request council approval to authorize city manager to sign change order number one, increasing the contract amount by $16,603, and the change order reflects the adjustment allowance for the foundation to the actual cost during construction. Adds for some additional power for the passenger boarding bridge, which would be a 250 and a 480 circuit.
Moved.
Second.
Motion Ronayne, second by Slade Hansen. Questions on that? Change order $16,603. The consequent payment amount then would be $800,212 to John Bean Technologies. The bulk of that federal check. Questions?
I do. So I saw the ramp wasn't working today that we're paying for.
I was going to broach that subject. As with anything new, there's little things that come up, and this little thing turned out to be a big thing. It's a down, called a down sensor or low limit sensor went bad when the jet bridge was in the down position. So we were unable to raise it, and it also affects the auto leveling feature. As the aircraft is deboarded, it becomes lighter, the bridge switches up with that.
Was it repaired today?
The mechanic from JBT is flying in on the night flight tonight.
Oh.
The,
Good luck.
we discovered the part pretty bad this morning. I got with JBT. They're overnighting the replacement part, so that should be here in the morning.
On whose dime will that be
That will be
repaired?
on the JBT.
Thank you.
And when he can't use that boarding bridge, he'll be in a big hurry to get it fixed for us.
We are.
Well, and with the temps, and he has to get off.
I know, those things that unfortunately popped out.
Well, at least it was for today. It'd be the warmest day out of the next 10. So, do you expect a quick fix?
We do expect it.
Like a 1 day?
The sensor's an easy replacement,
Okay.
smart, it's nothing hidden, it's all out in the open.
Okay.
So Rob, did you have to walk outside?
Well, I was really worried about Mrs. Leveson.
Okay. Okay.
For people who don't know, last night's plane, Delta, had some problems and didn't make it, stayed overnight, so they put a second flight on to get all those people here today, and then 2 flights came in this afternoon instead of 1. So, questions or anything else on the request for payment? The total amount is $800,212. Jordan?
Councilmember Slight Hansen,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Bunceness,
All right.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye. Motion carries. And Rich, your next item is 4 different payment to Helms and Associates. Why don't you run through all 4 of them, and we'll handle them all at once.
Okay, the first one is for, the payment to acquire the passenger boarding bridge. That's Helms's, administration, construction administration, and bid spec fees at $547.50. The next one is, invoice number 3 in the amount of $44,790.07, and that's for design services, for reconstruction of Taxiway Charlie, and, that is 35% complete, and that'll be 90% federal, 5% state, 5% city. And that's AIP grant 3460001.
Move to approve all. Second.
Motion Johnson, second by Remley. Questions on any of those 4? Not. Jordan, we have motion and a second to make those payments to Helms. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bunceness.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Slight Hansen.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye. Motion carries. Item D, I'd entertain a motion to pay the bills, the list of which you've been provided in your agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion Olson, second by Ronayne. Questions on any of them?
Should we make you read the whole list? Seems like it's a little extended tonight.
Yeah, it is. I'll let you take a look at it yourself.
I do have a question. And Lynn, I've asked this before. I look at these bills, and actually I think it's really good that we've got all the bills in here these days, because that makes them public and everybody can look at them. But, there's no way for me to look through this and see if these are really valid bills. I mean, there's no bill, they're just amounts. And even if somebody put the bills in there, I'm not sure I'd be able to figure out if these are all proper. What is the procedure? Somebody must be going through these.
Actually, they come in and they're coded, and then after they're coded, they come up to my office, and then I get to go through the pile. It's about this thick, and I read what the reason it was for, and then I sign it, and then it goes on to the council as a listing. And so I'm actually looking at them.
So you've approved every one of those $200,000 worth of bills?
Yes, sir.
And if I recall, then every one of them has already passed through a department head.
Or a
before-
respective board.
Yeah, or a board, or a subordinate in a department who's dealt with it. So,
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear that, because we're clueless.
speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself.
Brag if you want to, but I don't know how you would know if those amounts are valid.
From my experience when I was in Linspike, the amounts you really don't have any frame of reference for, but the one thing you do notice, if there is a bill payment to something you've never seen before, that jumps out at you. And that's one check on it when it goes through Lynn's office, is that he's seen these over and over, and anything anomalous really will jump out if you're paying attention. Lynn, it's hard. When I did it, I had to sign them all by hand, so I think you've got an automatic signer now, right?
Actually, I do a summary authorization now.
Okay.
And it doesn't stop you from picking out whichever bill you want to look at to pull that
I think
and
that's
ask the
right.
question.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It's usually the smaller bills that create the interest because the larger ones are usually principal or interest.
Yeah.
So those are very easy to see. But when you get into the smaller ones, the 500 for a particular individual, and then you're going, well, I've never heard of this individual, and then you pull the voucher and find out, well, they're a coach for volleyball, and you go, okay, I can understand this, but the smaller ones, like he says, the ones that you don't see very often are the ones that I question the most.
If it's anything really unusual, Jordan or Carl would have the answer if we had a question.
That's correct. We're also looking through them as well as we process them, and we
Yeah.
do identify things that stand out to us and ask follow-up questions.
Thank you. Thank you for indulging me. I won't bring this up again for another 6 months.
Did we take a vote on this yet?
Motion Olson, second Remley.
Okay, vote then to pay the bills, please.
Councilmember Bunceness.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Remley.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Rux Slight Hansen.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. Lynn?
Okay, I have two issues this evening. The first issue Brett would like to speak about. He would like to talk about corner visibility.
I don't know if I'd like to speak about it, but I fear I better. Code Enforcement Department has had numerous calls with concerns on corner visibility issues because of the snow. The issues have dealt with people can't see around the corner, and the other issue is the people don't have the ability or the want to remove the snow from that corner visibility. The height within corner visibility is, and this is in residential areas, is 3 feet. As we all know, we've got a lot of snow. A lot of these areas now, it's well over 3 feet. And I guess I'm bringing it to the council not only about the corner visibility, but the quadrants as well. We have some people who do a great job at cleaning those quadrants completely out. Other people put paths, so you've got access both ways. Other people don't do anything. I guess from our standpoint, since we're starting to receive complaints, we're going to have to start doing something about it. And if we do something about it for one, we do something about it for all. And if we do it for all, it's going to be a lot. So I guess my question to the council is, are we wanting to give the citizens some leeway on the corner visibility? Or do you want to stick to our guns and make sure that gets brought down to 3 feet? And same with the quadrants. Do we want those completely cleaned out, have a path going one way or another, or leave them plugged? Like I say, if we do one, we're going to have to do all.
Right?
I don't think we should sacrifice safety just because of somebody not wanting to remove that snow. I did a lot of driving around today. I even had difficulty seeing a small person within a quadrant that had, like Brett described, just a pathway, and I didn't really see him until they came out, and just because the snow was piled about 5 feet high. And what it looked like to me is a lot of people are throwing the snow in those corners when they should be throwing it elsewhere. So I just don't like to see us sacrifice safety just because somebody doesn't want to remove their snow.
What do you mean by leeway? What are you thinking?
Letting it go till spring.
So if there is no path, we let it go. If it's
Well, I'm
10
not
feet
saying, I guess my feeling, my let it go till spring is the height of the corner visibility.
Okay.
As far as the paths, I think we need to have the access to and from the sidewalk. As far as keeping the whole thing open, I understand, we have that because of the ADA issues, and I understand that, and I think everybody should have the ability to have that access. I just don't know how easy it's going to be to start enforcing that more than we already are.
You know, that's really the problem. I mean, I was motoring around a little bit today too, and it's everywhere. It isn't. It's not 60% of corners. It's 95%, and I think it's going to be impossible. And the other issue is, you know, really what do people do with it, with the snow there at this point? It's like cement. I know because if you start ticketing people who haven't shoveled their sidewalks, it's like cement. I tried it today, and I think we don't have much choice but to, as you say, give people a little leeway.
and I guess my feeling with the additional snow we're going to get, and Robin can correct me if I'm wrong, when we do plow the streets, we do wrap those corners, so a little bit more snow gets
Right.
put on those
Right.
We compound the
intersections than anywhere
Right.
else.
Robin,
So I would be interested in, the requirement to have a path would stay,
Sure.
but the height and cleaning the whole thing out would be pushed off.
And understand we've been spoiled the past, I don't know how many winters where we haven't had much snow, but I always revert back to 96, 97 when we had piles of snow that were 20 feet tall and people still seem to manage to navigate around those. But
People were putting those little styrofoam balls on their
Yep.
antennas, which they don't have anymore.
But motorists have an obligation to slow down. If
Right.
they can't see around a corner, that's just improper and unsafe, and it's.
What do we know about private contractors who are available to do this stuff? Are they all booked up with the jobs that they have scheduled, or are there some out there that are actively looking for these small jobs one at a time?
I think once the snow subsides for a week, we'll be able to find some private contractors that are willing to do this, because I've been looking for somebody to remove snow from the ends of my driveway so I can see when we back out. So I haven't been able to find anybody because right now everybody's busy hauling snow for all the commercial entities. I'm sure there might be
Yeah.
some that
I think they like the commercial jobs better than the residential jobs.
No, they're contracted for the whole winter.
Well, I know one particular contractor that has residential and stated such that he'd rather have commercial jobs than residential jobs, so.
So, I did look around town myself as well. Have been looking around town and am a bit frustrated with the number of corners that aren't properly cleaned. Especially, listening to the chief here a couple of weeks ago talk about the number of school children who are trying to walk home from school and are having to climb up over these corners that aren't cleaned out at all. And so I think that we do need to stand firm with at least a path so that the kids can get back and forth to school. I understand the height. I know, even at my house, the driveway is getting high. And so I understand that there are some situations that just can't be helped. But I would be very opposed to us not standing firm with cleaning the corners.
So, do the kids do they really care if they're clean? Don't they like to climb the snowbanks? And at least I used to.
Maybe some of them do, but I think we have a responsibility to make sure that they are clear.
I think going along with what Jennifer's saying is that we may have to monitor some of these driveways by the schools where you mentioned you couldn't see these little tykes coming through the walkways. We may have to do something ourselves as a city to just for safety wise in a few of those intersections leading up to the schools. I know that's not going to be popular, but yet if we do have those little tykes the last 2-3 blocks that are way high for some reason, the wind blew or something, weird circumstances, not normal circumstances, we may have to consider that.
So where are we, if we could describe what our attitude about this is, how would we describe it as a consequence of this short discussion here? What are we saying to people who have big piles of snow that are on their property?
We understand that this is a special circumstance. We don't see this much snow on a year-to-year basis, and we're adjusting.
And I would like to throw a caveat in there too, because there are some, as has been stated, that have pushed the snow into that area. We've had some apartments where they have a commercial cleaning service and they've been pushing that snow into that. If we see that that's what they're doing, they're still going to have to clean it out. It's not, I guess the way we talked about on third floor, if the city plowed the snow into that area or God put it in that area, then we're thinking it could be able to stay, but if you put it there, it's going to have to be removed.
So Brett, are you looking for us to give you something firm, like put a seasonal exception with some kind of deadline on it in writing, or are you just asking us to give you as a department some leeway? Tell you guys.
I'm asking for that, for the leeway, because if I were to go and do this on my own, and then people were to start calling, I want to make sure I have the backing of the council before I start telling people, yeah.
Maybe you want it in writing.
Okay. Keep us updated.
I'll do that.
Okay, I have another tidbit of good news at this time. The city website includes a module called Notify Me, whereas an individual can subscribe to receive specialized notifications on certain events. And I was checking it today, and I was checking the top 5 categories. And this is significant. The first category, alerts for snow and ice control. We now have 3,000 people that are subscribers for snow and ice control. I know when Robin and I started, it was a goal 5, 6, 7 years ago to get 1,000. So the word's out where if in fact you want to know what the city's doing from a snow and ice control perspective, sign up. And so it's working. The second highest subscription is mosquito spraying at $1,200, the Aquatic Center at $1,100, Recreation Division at $1,100, and Public Safety at $1,000. And so with those 5 categories alone, that's 7,434 subscribers. However, if you look through all our subscription selections, we have over 15,924 people signed up for various different notices for city activities.
Robin, so I was going to give you a chance to talk about snow removal with all the free advice you're getting these days. You probably have a lot to tell us.
We have had a lot of suggestions over the last few weeks. As we talked last week, things are becoming more and more challenging. Each snow removal becomes a bigger challenge for us because there are less and less places to put the snow. Our crews are becoming a little more frustrated because a lot of the stuff that the public is doing to help themselves out is creating difficulties for the crews at times to be able to get the snow off the street. And, you know, the piles are getting so massive in certain spots that we're inadvertently creating problems for the public as well. So it's becoming difficult with, I think the official tally this morning was 38 inches plus, which is an average snow year for Aberdeen, and we've got our 2 snowiest months ahead of us. That's the scary part, is how much snow season we have ahead of us with the volume that we could be getting. So, you know, I think everybody's becoming impatient with the whole process. And we ask for the public's patience in getting these things done. That's the hardest part. We are trying to do our level best. We're pushing our crews very hard, and not everything is going as well as we'd like, that's for sure. But we ask for the patience and know that it's not a perfect situation for anybody. But we've got another snowfall coming up perhaps tonight. They've backed that forecast off. They've got another one coming up a couple days from now. Last week I predicted what we were going to be doing. I was off by a full day based on when the snow actually came in. So I'm not going to predict when we're doing snow removal for the rest of the week. So.
You know, Dave and Jennifer brought up the point of children walking to school, and my question is, what are we doing for a public safety announcement? Either the police on their Facebook page, or what are we doing? Can we make a public safety announcement to tell the public to slow down and be watching for school children with these high amounts of snow?
We certainly can put it on our Facebook, however you wish to format it, or wherever you want to say it reaches a large number of people. So whatever message you want to send, just let us know, and we can certainly put that out.
Do we think that's a good idea? Or, I mean,
anytime you can give an added reminder so people have it on their mind when they leave home in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have a large number of following, so we can put something out tomorrow morning if you wish in regards to this. However you wish to word it, I guess specifically, it's someone wants to give some advice on that, Rod, or whoever.
Actually, I'm thinking if you take the subscribers on the city website plus your Facebook site, it'll probably double the number, which it would probably be equivalent to my alert for snow and ice removals. And so that should have some impact.
So who's going to prepare the notice?
I'll help.
Call the lawyer.
Yep.
Always.
Okay.
I can make that really long.
Doesn't matter to me. It'll be on there. Take a while to read it, maybe.
Ron and I can take care of it tomorrow morning.
All right. Are you? That's all from you too,
That's
Lynn?
all.
From anyone else?
Move to adjourn. Second.
Motion Bunsen, second by who said over here? Doesn't matter.
It was Rob.
Rob, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Yeah, we can throw it on Facebook. We have a big number that we hit.
You know, for our